Dobar dan. Danas pričamo o bojama. Today we're talking about colors. Now, I know what you're thinking. Who needs a lesson to learn colors? Just look them up in a dictionary, right? But I promise you, this is going to be about more than just vocabulary. So be patient, and I'm sure you'll find something here that you didn't know. Let's start with blue. Plavo. It doesn't even sound that much different from English. Blue, plavo. Colors, like other adjectives in Serbian, come in three genders. Plav for masculine nouns, plava for feminine, and plavo for neutral. You may have heard people say plavi instead of plav for masculine nouns, and this is also perfectly fine. But here's the difference. As you know, Serbian language has no articles. So there are no additional words that tell us whether we're talking about something definite or indefinite, like whether you want an apple, just any apple, or you want the specific apple. However, we have a way of expressing this definiteness through adjectives. So when we use plav, that means the blue object we're talking about is indefinite or is mentioned for the first time. And to describe a specific object, we use plavi. As for adjectives in feminine and neutral forms, they can also denote this definiteness, but it will be conveyed through the accent and not an additional letter. E.g., plava haljina is a blue dress, and plava haljina is the blue dress. Can you hear the difference? Plava and plava. Take the sentence, Daenerys is wearing a blue dress. Daenerys nosi plavu haljinu. And if this were the answer to the question, which out of a finite set dress is she wearing, it would sound like this. Daenerys nosi plavu haljinu. Plavu, plavu. But the fact is, this definite, indefinite thing is not very strict. And you can often use these forms interchangeably, so don't think too much about it. If you want to be safe, just use the indefinite form at any time. It should almost always work. Now, did you know that we use the same word, plavo, to describe blonde hair? Plava kosa. If we want to be more precise and say light blue or dark blue, we say svetlo plavo and tamno plavo. Very dark blue is also called teget. We said blue will have three genders. However, svetlo and tamno will always stay the same in this scenario. So we would have svetlo plava mašna, light blue ribbon. Svetlo plav konac, light blue thread. And svetlo plavo pero, light blue feather. If you use teget instead of dark blue, teget will also not change. So you will have teget mašna, teget konac, teget pero. You can use svetlo and tamno in front of any other color too, like green, zeleno. Then you have svetlo zeleno and tamno zeleno. If something looks greenish, you're not quite sure whether it's green or something else, you can say zelenkasto, like zelenkaste oči, greenish eyes. Maybe you should note here that the noun oko, eye, is irregular. Because of its plural, that sounds like oči, oko, oči. In addition, an eye, oko, is of neutral gender, and oči behaves like feminine gender. If something is between blue and green, you can just put these two color words together, blue and green, and you get plavo-zeleno. Or the other way around, zeleno-plavo. Or even zelenkasto-plavo, greenish-blue. For example, we have this greenish-blue butterfly, and we would say it's a plavo-zeleni leptir. As for eye color, I'd like to remind you how we use the genitive to express some sort of features. Like we have a green-eyed girl, then we could say devojka zelenih očiju. But you could also say zeleno-oka devojka, zeleno and oko, and then transform that into feminine gender and you get zeleno-oka. I know these are not technically colors, but let's just learn them anyway. We have black, crno, and white, belo. This belo may be a little odd because the masculine form, the indefinite masculine form of belo will be beo. Remember Beograd, Belgrade, which is literally the white city. Beo, grad. Grad is city. And in between we have sivo, gray. When something is black and white, like this drawing, you say it's crno-belo. So this is a crno-beli crtež. How would you say, I got a black and white ball? Not I have, but I got, as in I received. And to receive or to get something is dobiti. Dobiti, nešto. And it takes accusative. This nešto will be an accusative. And you're going to need lopta, which is ball.
Dobio sam crno-belu loptu.
By the way, black and white are the colors of a famous football team, Partizan. Another famous football club in Serbia is Red Star, Crvena zvezda. Crveno, red. Their colors are, you're guessing, red and white. Just like these cute little Christmas decorations. Crveno-beli ukrasi. This isn't very important, but the rule is that if we have two colors on an object, we write them with a dash, like in this example, crveno-beli ukrasi. And when the colors are not distinctly separated, but more like a mixture, giving a new tint, like that green-blue butterfly, then there is no dash. On to yellow, žuto. This is a smiley, and we don't have a special word for it, so we just use English, we say smiley. So žut smiley or žuti smiley. I said you could use these two interchangeably, the definite and indefinite forms. However, that goes only when the adjective stands before a noun. And if it stands alone, like in the example, this smiley is yellow, ovaj smiley je žut, then it could only be indefinite. It could only be žut. Then we have orange, naranđasto. Not so surprisingly, orange, the fruit, sounds similar, naranja. However, I prefer to say pomoranđa. I'd like to draw your attention to the last few letters of this word, naranđasto. Perhaps you've noticed that it bears a resemblance to greenish, zelenkasto. And this is not a coincidence. This sto or asto is the Serbian equivalent to ish. So So this would be orangish, greenish, and it could also be applied to other words to signify that something is alike to something else. Take a pear, for example, kruška. Then kruškasto is pear-shaped, e.g. kruškast oblik tela, pear shape of a body. But let me be clear, this is not a simple recipe. You cannot just paste asto onto anything blindly and get alike to that. I'm just saying that when you see a word that ends like this, the chances are it will mean that that is something alike to the root of that word. Here's another example. From mreža, net, we have mrežasto, net-like. So we have mrežaste čarape, fishnet tights. Socks and tights are both čarape in Serbian. Ljubičasto is violet, and not so surprisingly, it comes from ljubičica, violet, the flower. Rose, pink. So many colors, and we don't know yet how to ask what color something is. For example, what color is this circle? Well, here's how you say that. Koje boje? Koje boje je ovaj krug? Then you might answer, ovaj krug je brown. This circle is brown.
Koje boje je ova cipela?
What color is this shoe? You may argue that the shoe is red. Crvena cipela. But perhaps some of you will want to be more specific, and in that case you can say the shoe is the color of the brick, where brick is cigla, and shoe is, well, cipela. So you say, cipela je boje cigle, and that's genitive for you, boje cigle. And you can use that construction to say something is the color of pretty much anything you want. You can say it's the color of the stars or the color of your soul, if you like. You can practice by translating this sentence. I got a salmon-colored rose. These are the words you're going to need. Ruža, rose, and losos, salmon.
Dobila sam ružu boje lososa.
If something contains many colors, we say it's šareno or raznobojno. So these are raznobojne bombone. I put here all the colors I could come up with. I probably forgot some, but I'm quite sure that this is more than enough. Let's see how to say to color something. Obojiti and bojiti. The difference between these two is in their grammatical aspect. We call that glagolski vid. The first one, obojiti, is perfective, in Serbian svršeni. It means that the coloring is finished, it's a one-time thing and it's over, you finished coloring. It's something like the English simple tenses versus bojiti, which is imperfective, nesvršeni, which is something like a continuous tense. It's unfinished, it's either continuous or repetitive. But please don't get me wrong, this is not a tense, even though I said you could compare it to simple and continuous tenses. These verbs I'm giving you here are both in infinitive right now. And if you put them in, for example, past tense, one will be obojila sam, and it will mean I colored it, I finished coloring it. And the second will be boilasam, and it will mean something like I was coloring it. But notice that the building of the past tense is the same for both of these verbs. Other verbs have different grammatical aspects too. In this example, we have to do. Uraditi, perfective, and raditi, imperfective. Here's another one. To cut. Iseći, perfective, versus seći, imperfective. Speaking of verbs, we can make verbs from the names of colors too. Let's take žuto, yellow. From that, we can make žuteti. It's a verb, an imperfective verb, meaning to go yellow, to turn yellow. Then we have požuteti, which is the same, but it's perfective. So once you go yellow, that's finished. And there's also žuteti se, which is a little more difficult to explain. It's imperfective, it's reflexive because of this se thing. So it's like to yellow oneself, literally translated, but it means to emit yellow color. Let's take leaves. Lišće. This is one of those collective nouns from least. Least is singular, a leaf, and the plural of that is either listovi, which means it's like a collection of many single leaves, and it could be lišće, which is that collective thing. It's like more of a homogeneous mass. Lišće. And it's the one that's more often used, really. So we have lišće žuti. The leaves are going yellow. And we have lišće je požutelo, which means the leaves turned yellow. It's finished, they already turned yellow, and that's done. And here's the third one, lišće se žuti, which means that the leaves are being yellow, they're emitting yellow color. You could see something yellow, and that general impression you get, it's žuteti se. I'm not sure if I'm explaining this right. But here's one more. From red, crveno, we have crveneti, to go red, pocrveneti, to have gone red, and crveneti se, to be red, to emit red.
Lucy je pocrvenela.
There's a famous folk poem that starts like this. Šta se beli u gori zelenoj? Actually, originally, it's šta se bijeli. But that's not important right now, so let's stick to this. Šta se beli u gori zelenoj? It means, what is that being white in the green hills? Instead of asking, what is that thing, that's white thing over there, you ask, what is that emitting whiteness? Maybe this is the best example for you to understand. That was it for today. You know the procedure. Comment, like, and subscribe. And more importantly, keep learning. Bye.